I'm Arin.
And I'm Jonathan.
And you're listening to Part the Mist bonus episode, Beltane recap, unedited awesomeness. So I got to actually, I was co-leader for our last ritual. This is the second ritual that I've co-led. We did a Celtic Beltane, maypole dance, dancing with a she in the rain, and it was fun. So basically, we had it all planned, all set up to have ritual outside. Everything was set up, ready to go. We'd done a rehearsal outside. People were starting to show up for ritual, and it starts pouring rain. Jonathan comes up to myself and David, who was my co-leader, and goes, "Hey, so maybe we should move this inside." Frantically moving everything about, 15 minutes before ritual?
Yeah, we were lucky to have quite a few people from the public show up, so they were able to help us move pretty quickly.
Yeah, everybody, a huge shout out to any of our guests that are listening. Thank you so much. We got everything moved indoors pretty quick before it even really got too swamped with rain. And set up again real nice and quick inside. Everybody hauled in all the chairs, all the altar items, and got everything reset up about 5 minutes before start of ritual.
Yeah, and I thought there was only going to be about 20 people showing up, because usually here when it rains, everyone tends to stay at home because nobody wants to go drive out in the rain because the weather's kind of crappy. I enter the room and there's like 60 people in this room. Like, where did all these people show up? I mean, wow, we're all okay, sure.
Yeah, David and I were looking at each other at the start, going, "Hey, maybe we can actually do some of our stuff that we had planned for a smaller group." And people just keep coming in until finally David goes, "You know what? I might have misjudged."
Yeah.
We had 59 people show up.
Plus, a very special somebody showed up as well.
Yes, yeah. We actually had a journalist from the Oregonian show up, take pictures, interviewed everyone. And she wrote a really good general article that can be found on, what is it, Oregon Live?
It's OregonLive.com, but we'll put a link in the show notes.
There will be a link to the article itself in the show notes.
Because the link looks pretty ugly. It's this really long string of...
I don't know, we can do a tiny URL or something. But, don't look at the comments, though. That's just depressing.
Well, what's funny about the news article is the comments have really nothing to do with the article.
It's a lot of judgment. It's a lot of, "Oh, look at these D&D nerds."
Yeah, we're pretty much called nerds, and then it goes off on Catholicism, which I'm like, okay.
Oh, gee, God is the one true God, and
we have
we have nothing against, we have nothing against Christians. We have nothing against any Christian listeners we might have, or any Christians who might, have something to say to us. Just, that really had nothing to do with the article.
And that's a cat you're hearing, okay. Yeah, so it went really well. I'm going to pause this for a moment, guys. I'll be right back. And we're back. I got the cat to quiet.
I think we've mentioned on previous episodes, we're recording in Jonathan's apartment. There's a couple of cats here.
And so we're not necessarily a professional setup here.
Yeah.
We're just sitting on the couch and talking. So if you hear weird stuff like that, it tends to be animals.
Hopefully, as things go on, we'll get a little bit more professional here. But,
Nah.
So, anyway.
So the reporter came and started asking a bunch of questions, and it added a little extra stress, because now we have somebody who's not of the community coming in, and our ritual wasn't...
Anyway, as we were saying, we did have a little bit of extra stress having somebody from outside the community in there, asking questions. We knew she was going to be representing us for the public eye. So, a little extra, hey, let's not mess this up if we can avoid it. which of course there were hiccups, but we're human. When are there not hiccups? I think we have in our regular rituals we have the three kindreds we hand out for public, which is, as you recall, the three kindreds are the ancestors, the nature spirits, and the shining ones. And we just completely forgot to hand those out during our recap, which threw us off a little bit. But I think we made a pretty good comeback. I feel like once we realized our mistake, we were able to move on. Yeah, so it overall, I feel like it went really well. I think we did a really good job. I will say, once we invoked the she, the Fae folk, I really felt their presence. I can't speak for anybody else there, but everything that happened after that just kind of started to get a little bit more chaotic too. So, yeah, they definitely were there. And after we invoked the she, we went out, and after we had our personal offerings, we went out and we danced around the maypole. It was drizzling a little bit when we went out there, and the longer we're out there, it just starts raining harder and harder. Poor Jonathan is like stuck in the middle of this maypole holding it up because we don't have the sturdiest maypole, which, I don't know, we should probably think about doing something
the
else next year.
No. The maypole is fine. Is it that you have 60 people dancing it, and you're pulling on all these different sides? It's going to come down because it's not a tree.
Right.
And it's not a pole that's shoved, I don't know, X amount of feet into the ground.
It's true.
This is a pole that's put into an umbrella stand for those table umbrellas. So you're going to, when you have 60 people, because if you look at a lot of maypole dances, you don't have that many people. You have anywhere from 10 to 20 people dancing. So when you have all these people pulling, you're going to tend to pull the tree. So there's really...
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had 30 people last year, and you still had to hunker down in the middle to keep it steady.
At this point, we can't really do anything because we can't modify the area because we're renting space. It's just one of the quote unquote sacrifices that we just have to deal with.
But I mean, on the upside, Jonathan's always able to get a really good picture looking directly up into the maypole ribbons.
Exactly.
So we had I don't know, it was not everybody danced, so we'll say it was probably closer to 50 people dancing around the maypole. And in the pouring rain, we had 5 or 6 of us were singing a fairy song, which we could not hear each other singing when we were more than 5 feet apart, between the rain falling and the people laughing. But it was a lot of fun. It was a little chaotic, but a lot of fun. And it definitely was an absolutely, in my mind, it was a wonderful experience.
So should I talk about which the deities we called upon?
So we had Lu as our guardian. We had, let me see, I'm trying to do this in order. We had Danu, the goddess Danu, as our earth guardian, our earth mother. We had, let's see, Angus McGog as our inspiration, and we had Mananan MacLear for our gatekeeper. He's always our gatekeeper for our Irish rituals, and it's so much fun just chanting Mananan over and over again. Although it's kind of tempting to do Mananan.
No, don't do that. Please don't do that.
And then we had, for our deities of the occasion, we had the she, and we had Anya as in the position as the fairy queen. She's usually more of a midsummer deity, but we just want to I personally wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of, guiding hand.
Well, just because she's a midsummer deity doesn't mean you can't, call on her, because Mananan MacLear is a not necessarily a gatekeeper deity.
Right.
But
well, yeah.
and we're also calling on her for the fairy folk, the fae.
Right.
The she.
Exactly.
So,
that's what I'm saying. Like, we're calling on her as Queen of the She, as kind of a guiding hand for the She. I mean, writing the ritual, I actually got to learn quite a bit about Anya that I didn't know before, which was a very illuminating experience. For example, the fact that a lot of people will actually relate Anya to Danu or Anu, who is supposed to be like the deity that birthed all of the Tuatha De Danann, all of the Irish deities basically.
So this is Jonathan from the future. We were supposed to have a few members come to this recording and share their experiences. However, life got in the way. But one of our Grove members, Amber, was so kind to send us her impressions of Beltane. So we're going to go ahead and play that here. And once we're done with that, we'll go back to our show. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Hi there. My name is Amber, and I would like to share a little bit about my experiences at Beltane this year. There were a lot of really cool things that I think happened really well for us. One of the big ones for myself was that I was asked, actually I volunteered, to call upon our inspiration deity. And for Beltane, this inspiration deity was Angus McGog, which he is an example of genuine romantic love and chivalry and just all of the beautiful devotional sides of love that sometimes gets a little overshadowed around Beltane time, when some people will prefer to focus on the risque sides of Beltane or the lusty sides. Angus stands for the very genuine romantic sides of things. And so we called upon him as our inspiration to help give our words a little bit more of that depth and genuine love and care for our family-friendly Beltane event. I had a lot of fun writing his invocation, and then it got even better the day of, because as I was standing up there with a dozen roses in my hand, presenting them around the fire for him, my words became inspired, and I added quite a bit more commentary than I had originally written in my invocation. So you could definitely say that I was moved by his romance, and my words were definitely inspired. And I feel like all of our members' words were full of inspiration and humor and love, and it was just a really all-around great experience, both as a member and as a guest. I wasn't leading this ritual, so I did get to actually be a guest for a good portion of it, and it was a lovely experience. One of the not-so-just guest things for myself was that I got really excited about the idea of singing a song when our guests were dancing around the maypole instead of dancing myself. Which last year I had a broken foot, so I didn't get a dance around the maypole, and this year it led me to consider what we could have done a little bit better last year, and we were kind of lacking on that musical element. So I had volunteered to sing a solo to our bards, and our bard leader is Arin, and Arin said that would be a great idea. Well, to my complete delight, several of the bards actually chose to sing this song, and it was beautiful. It was quite fun and entertaining, considering it was downpouring during our maypole dance, but we had our bards singing and laughing and banging on tambourines, and we had the laughter of everybody dancing around the maypole. And the best part about the song is that we sing about dancing under the bright sunlight, and it's dark and gray outside and dumping rain on us. But you know what? When you live in Oregon, you make the best of the weather, and you don't really complain, because we need the rain as much as we can possibly get it. The last thing I would kind of like to talk about is I was asked to compile little trinkets and baubles into a little fairy, little she bag. And it was just like this little tiny trinket bag as part of our guests' takeaway from this ritual. I thought it was really a cool idea, and I had a lot of fun coming up with little items to put inside of this bag that, to me, represent the fun and liveliness and the collective nature, or sometimes cluttery nature, that we know of the Sidhe. And this project got a little bit away from me because, as someone who does work with the Sidhe quite closely, I kept adding more and more and more things to these little tiny bags. What started as I'm going to put a little charm in the shape of a key or a door in each one of these bags, turned into that, plus feathers, plus seashells, plus pretty rocks, plus ribbons, plus Arin added a prayer to Anya, and by the time the whole thing was said and done, these bags were completely full of all these little trinkets and baubles, and it was just absolutely perfect for the Sidhe, and I think our guests really enjoyed it. I hope they enjoyed it, because I had a lot of fun making it. So, all in all, there was a lot of elements to Beltane that were just really unique and really special, and I think that we focused more on the fun and livelihood and romantic sides of Beltane. Our events are family-friendly, so that's a little different than some of the options that are available in our area. And I love that we had people of all ages dancing and having fun despite the weather, adorning flowers and beautiful costumes, and it was just absolutely amazing and magical to me. So I highly look forward to our next High Day, which will be Norse, and I'm actually leading it, so that'll be really fun and very, very different from Beltane.
So anyway, it was a fun learning experience. I'm super excited. I'm gonna be leading Lunasa, and so I picked up a lot from co-leading Beltane that will make a huge difference when I get around to working on Lunasa, which I should start working on soon.
All right, that sounds good. Do you have anything else I'd like to add? Before, I was there, but I didn't take any role in this ritual. So yeah, I have nothing really to add. I think you pretty much covered. And since we're not really going,
how did you feel about it? Just kind of being able to observe for once.
Well, I've observed before.
You were able to sit back a little bit more this time than you have in the past.
Well, I was stressed out this time more than probably the other ones because I had to try to facilitate moving everybody from one area to another, and all rituals that I'm even remotely there are stressful because I am ultimately in charge of our public appearance and rituals, so it's work for me. So I don't actually. The only time I enjoy rituals is if I go to other people's rituals, not ours. It's just part. It's part of the job, you know.
Yeah.
The thing with, at least in my opinion, that if I'm overseeing a ritual, if I get too involved in the ritual,
mm-hmm.
I won't be able to fix things that need to be fixed.
Sure.
Like this ritual, like some of the offerings weren't put out, so I had to go run out and put those out because while you guys were doing ritual, there were some things forgotten. Yeah. For the 3 kindreds.
That's why things were messed up. No, I had everything out there.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No, not when we were inside. Things were missing. There wasn't silver by the well.
So the portal stuff was
missing.
the
portal stuff was missing, yeah.
But the kindred stuff was not.
Okay.
And I did notice that things were, mixed around on the altar. I had everything set out, so I don't know what happened there.
I didn't touch that stuff. No, so there's certain things that are forgotten, so I always have to keep an eye out on things, which means I have to be vigilant, which means I can't just sit there and enjoy it like everybody else, which is the price you pay as being a senior druid, just part of the job. So all you guys out there that want to be senior druids, it is a lot of work, but it is really, really, I enjoy my job. Okay. So do you have anything else? Or anything?
I don't have anything else.
All right, I think this is, go ahead.
Stay tuned for our next podcast, I guess, would be.
Yes.
I was gonna say come to our midsummer, but maybe not all of you are located in Portland. So
yes, we're having a Norse midsummer that's coming up June 26th. So it's a little over a month away, but hey, we're excited for that. So if you like what you hear, please go ahead and rate us on iTunes. Also, if you leave us some feedback, our email address is
ptmpod at gmail.com. You can also rate and review on Stitcher.
Yes.
It's separate from iTunes. It will also help us get more.
And we also have a Facebook page, Part the Mist. And also, if you'd like to see what our Grove is doing, you can find us at Columbia Grove /ADF.
Oh, that's what we forgot to mention.
Oh, what?
We are a chartered Grove now.
Hey, yes, that's kind of important news that we kind of just totally slipped.
So, big deal for Columbia. I know we've been talking about the podcast since day one. We finally are a chartered Grove. So now we can finally start working towards getting all that 401c stuff taken care of, I guess.
501, 3. Oh, God, we're terrible.
All those numbers things. Well, there's a C thrown in. It's just big stuff. Anyway.
All right. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and close this off. This has been a silly time. Next time we'll be talking about the core order of ritual and how it works in ritual and the historical and present-day interpretations of it and how Columbia uses the core order. So until next time.
Stay tuned for that.
Yes, and that will be June 1st. That'll come out June 1st. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.